Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Brock Talk. It's time for another episode of Brock Talk. This is episode 14. It's always funny because the I always check the number right before I hit record, and then it's like as soon as I hit record, that information leaves my mind. But I feel very confident that this was 14. Yeah, got my camera now, and so we're back on video, baby. I actually had the camera for a bit, but I recorded the previous 3 episodes like back to back to back, just to like have some content to fill over time. So, and to kind of like trick my brain into being like, okay, we got 3 episodes. Just get into a rhythm of when you edit them and when it's gonna, when you're gonna put it out and all that. So yeah, here we are. It's episode 14. I rewatched a little bit of some of the previous episodes, and I feel like I'm talking a lot without getting to the point I'm trying to make. A couple things happen. I've mentioned this in previous episodes, but there's a lot going on up here, and sometimes I'm thinking too far ahead of what I want to say, and I'll get so far ahead I'll think of another idea and kind of just cut to that idea without finishing my first sentence or my first thought. Also, I feel like I try a little bit too hard to like cover all my bases per se. Like I want to say something and I want to share something, but it's like I have to make sure, oh, well, before I say this sentence, I'm going to be like, no, I acknowledge that people might think this, or I acknowledge that this happens, but personally I see this. I try so hard to cover those bases without, actually saying what I want to say. It's like, hey, we get it, dude. You're trying to be respectful or whatever. Thank you for everybody who's been watching. Thanks for all the positive feedback, all the kind messages and whatnot. I want to talk about some technical difficulties. So the previous episode, I talked about some pretty late stuff. Like re-listening to it, I was like, "Wow, I should have tried to get this out a lot sooner." But what happened? Part of the reason is I'm lazy. I'm prone to put things off. But two, like sometimes I admit to like the second that one thing goes wrong, I'm just like, "We'll scrap the whole thing. Why are we even doing this?" But what happened was I recorded those episodes and I went to edit them. Sorry, there's a very loud motorcycle going by outside. I don't know if you guys hear that. Tough guy driving by. But I recorded those episodes and I went to edit them, and there was no audio. So I use OBS to record this, and then I use an editing software called DaVinci Resolve, which I've been using for years, which is weird to say years, but yeah, I've been using for literal years. And it's always worked really well. I like it a lot. It's very good. But dude, like there was just no audio. And at first I like tried to give it a little bit. I tried to give it a little bit to like, I was like, oh, maybe it needs to load. But no, there was no audio. And it was so strange. I'd watch the videos separate on their own and there would be sound. I'd record other things with OBS when there would be sound, but when I put it into DaVinci, there was no sound. And it was really frustrating. I was like, this has literally worked fine, like the whole time. Like there's been no problems. Now all of a sudden, like, there's problems. Like, ugh. So I was pretty mad. And I was like, okay, let's not get mad. Let's try to figure this out. So I'm, classically, I went to the internet and I'm trying to figure this out, and it's something like the kind of audio file, or I'm still not great at the terms, but like the audio wasn't compatible with DaVinci Resolve, so you have to like, it's not remix, but something. It's a word like similar to remix. I don't even really know how to pronounce it. And thankfully on OBS you can just like, there's a setting where you can select the video and then hit remix, and it'll change the audio to the proper like file or whatever it is. And so once I got that, I was like able to get them back in DaVinci and then edit them. But then it was pretty frustrating for a bit. But so the same thing is going to have to happen with this video. The only annoying thing about it is that I'll have two of the video, which it is nice to have a backup, but it's also like, I just have to check and make sure which audio is correct and, which file is the right file. So yeah, there was that. But we got that figured out. Now we're back to editing and back to getting videos out. I want to go back in time. We're going to turn the clocks back a little bit. So 10 years ago, I graduated high school. It's a little bit more than 10 years. I graduated in June of 2016. I was about to say 2016. That's a different time, dude. That's a long time, brother. But yeah, I graduated in June of 2016, and I'm sitting here like, man, 10 years? Like, I have done nothing. Like, a part of me feels really bad about it. Where did the time go? And like, are you kidding me? But typically I try to, but what usually ends up happening is that I'll take some time and kind of reflect on the whole thing and realize that's not exactly true, but it's still a little bit of a battle that goes on in my head. So like when I graduated, people were like, they were like, what? They're like, what are you going to do after high school? And I was like, I'm going to sleep and play video games and watch movies and have fun. Like, screw the rest of this nonsense. And so I did for a year, I guess. I do nothing, or was it the year after that? I think maybe it was just in the winter time. I did a little, like I helped out a little bit with somebody. But yeah, I was watching TV, I was playing video games, I was just like hanging out. And then it was like then the summer ended and then fall happened and all this, and there's kind of like this realization of like, oh, time is just gonna keep going. Like we like no matter what, like the sun is gonna rise tomorrow for the. And so I started like writing down these goals, and I wrote them down on this piece of paper, and then I lost the piece of paper. But then years later, I was moving when I was moving into the apartment I'm in now. I found this paper again, and I was like, oh, I actually did a lot of these things. Like I didn't even know it. So one thing I try to tell myself is like, it's still important to put effort into something. It's still important to think about these things and plan things out. But sometimes we can be on the path and we don't know it. We just have to make sure we get up every day and do what needs done. And also too, when I think like, oh man, like I want to be, here's me covering my bases again, but I want to be true to myself, and I want to be the realist I can be, the realist version of me that is most authentic that I can be. But I'm like, have I changed, or am I just like the same boring dude from high school? And so again, I really think about it, and it's like, okay, well, what was I like when I graduated? And not that these are the most important things, but I enjoyed making progress on this. It was like, okay, well, literally, like when I graduated high school, I didn't have a car. In fact, I didn't even have my license. Like, it wasn't until after high school that I like got my permit, and then I got my license, and then like I opened up a savings account. So, like I didn't have a savings account when I graduated high school. And then eventually I opened up a checking account. I needed a checking account. It's like, okay, so there's some progress there, right? And then I was able to save up money and I bought a car. And then eventually when I needed to get a new car, I got a different car. So it's like, okay, like again, things are happening. It's just things, I mean, it's 24 hours every day, but it moves fast. It's hard to really like sit down and focus on the things you've done. It's just like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. And things like, when I graduated high school, I was living at my dad's house. Now I've been living in this apartment for 5 years. Yeah, 2021. I moved in here in 2021. So for me, I guess like I'm like a late bloomer. I'm kind of like it's like the tortoise versus the hare. I'm kind of like the tortoise, just like taking his time, doing his thing and getting where I need to go. Might not be super fast, but it's there, or things are happening. So I try not to harp on myself too much for that. But it is still, I fall into the category though of like I'll compare my life to other people, and that's not the most healthy thing. But I admit it happens. I'm like, man, like I'm like, this person just bought a house and is married. Like this person just finished college. Like they're doing this. Like, all these people are doing this stuff, but it's like, so then I'm like, well, what am I doing? Like, what's going on with me? What's wrong with me? But again, I have to remind myself that, their lives are not my life, and my life isn't their life, and so far I think I've done okay. Like it it just takes time. Sometimes it takes longer than others, but it's when it's done, I guess. And what I mean by that is that if you finish your goal, and in the journey, it's the journey, not the destination, which I agree with that a lot. But sometimes it's like it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do something. Like when I got my license, it didn't matter. I like didn't matter that it was after high school. I felt great. I was like, oh, this is amazing. So sometimes it's like there's no real, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's no time limit. I mean, there is, like our lives or whatever. Like we don't live forever, but I'm just saying, just because somebody did it in 5 steps doesn't mean I'd have to do it in 5 steps. It could be 6 steps, and again, that ending can still feel really good. Or that accomplishment. I don't know if ending is the right word, but the accomplishment. Also, I remember in the summer of 2017, I helped my friend do this moving job, and they required you to have a checking account so they could deposit the money. So then I had the checking account, and I didn't have like a car or license or anything, so people had to pick me up to help with the job. And then I was like, 2018 rolled around, and I said, okay, like it was just like a summer job, but then we're getting close to the summer, so I was like, okay, no, like I'm gonna get like my own license and start saving up money so I can get my car, make things a little bit more convenient, so I'm not asking people for rides. And then this summer job, they never messaged me or let me know ahead of time. All of a sudden, it was like it was a little bit, let's say like spring, not quite like summer, but like the spring, and nothing was happening. And I contacted the boss and I was like, hey, are we still active in my area? And they're like, yeah, we're not going to be doing stuff in this area. And I was like, okay, dude, thanks for telling me. Again, I went back. I was like, well, I'm going back to playing video games, and I'm going back to playing video games and watching TV. I can't remember. I might have messed up the timeline, but this was this was like spring of 2018. And then I woke up one day and it was June, and I was like, holy crap, we're halfway through 2018 and I haven't done anything. And so then I got a different job. I started working at Walmart, which, I mean, that's a whole story in itself. But I started working at Walmart, saving up money, then eventually bought a car, and that felt like the last like good year that I've had. And then 2019 was fun, but also pretty stressful. I had a different job for like most of 2019, and then ended up going back to Walmart. But I also try to remember that, like, man, like times are tough. Not to be super negative, but I mean, just facts of the matter is that since 2020, it's been a very negative ride. I want to say a kind of roller coaster, but more just like just really hard. Like it's a tough time. It's a hard time for the world right now. So sometimes it's like, hey, like we made it through another day. Okay, like we're pushing. We don't know how long this is gonna take. We don't know if it's ever gonna end. But sitting still and doing nothing won't fix it. So just kind of keep pushing, keep going in some kind of positive direction. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about with graduating. Supposedly there's going to be a class reunion coming up, so we'll see how that goes. See if anybody shows up or about that. Class reunions, I don't know if it's. I don't think I have the right to say it's weird now, because that's what I was gonna say. But like my mom and my dad, and I don't remember the last time they were at a class reunion. With social media, you can keep up with people if they're on social media and active. Having a class reunion in a way feels like, well, yeah, we can just message each other online. But I enjoy the human interaction, and I enjoy just, I don't know, seeing people and catching up. Like, that's fun. And so I started this without knowing where I was going, but yeah, I'll give it a try, I guess. But another part of me is like, do we have to do this? So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. A few rambling thoughts I want to share here. Like I said before about how like the days are just, Smash Mouth said it best, right? Like the years start coming and they don't stop coming. I remember my math teacher right before, like close to graduation, he was like, look, man, like after you graduate, the years are gonna fly by. And I didn't even really know what he meant by that, or wasn't really ready for it. but boy was he right. And I've always wondered though too, like I've wondered if anybody's felt this way or has a similar experience of like as a kid, and for my life, maybe this is the privilege of my life, but as a kid, like things I feel like you aren't exactly in control. You're on a little bit of a ride, but like things are changing, right? Like sometimes I should think of something happy to end this episode with because this isn't going to sound very fun. But like as a kid, I felt like the months matter, like the summertime, wintertime, like oh, it's the fall, it's this because like you had all these different events going on and like decorations were put up and like it was like oh, it's the end of the year. I'm on summer vacation, and now as an adult, at least in the path that I'm on right now, like yeah, I'm when I think about the wintertime, I'm like okay, it's gonna snow, and I have to worry about that. But I don't really like every day is kind of just another day. And yeah, I'm excited for like football and stuff like in the fall time and sports getting started. But it's almost like the years just kind of blend together now. And one thing, I guess I put a little bit too much stock on my own part, but like high school, well, not just high school, but it's like going back to like, have I changed? I'm like, oh, well, this year, like, oh, when this album came out, I remember I was in ninth grade and I was in this class and like we were talking about it. This was fun. We're like, I remember when this show aired and we would, the lunch table went crazy after this show aired. Like we were talking about this. And now it's like, like everybody was together on this journey, even though not all the same classes, but everybody was together on this journey. And so what I'm trying to say, again, I'm getting my words all jumbled. I'm trying to cover my bases is like the thing I put too much stock in, I guess, was like, oh, well, like who is Brock? Like, oh, I'm in ninth grade, or I'm in eighth grade, I'm in ninth grade, I'm in high school, I'm doing this, like, and then now that like I've graduated and I'm not in school, I'm just working. It's kind of like, oh well, I just work, like that's it. And it's like, oh, what was going on when this movie came out? I was like, oh, I was at Walmart, and I was like, well, what about when this game came out? Like, I was at Walmart doing the same thing I did 100 days ago, 200 days ago, whatever. They're both, I guess, in a way, high school. Like school and work, I guess, are both just a big compilation of BS busy work sometimes. But it was nice to be, really connected, like in high school. Like, hey, like, are you going to the basketball game tonight or to this party afterwards? Like, you get like all this, and now it's kind of like, you go to work and everybody just wants to go home, which like I get, I've been there. There aren't as many extracurricular activities going on. It's just kind of like the same thing over and over again. And so I have changed in a lot of good ways, but I just have to think of a new way of like, well, what does progress look like now as an adult, and what am I trying to say? I don't even know. I hope some of this has made sense. This is kind of like a half-baked thought I've been thinking about for a while. So maybe it's not half-baked. I don't know. That's all. This is the magic of Brock Talk, baby. We're just yapping. So I don't know. I definitely wouldn't do high school again. Like I've had like nightmares. Nightmares sounds extreme, but I not as much now, but I used to like have nightmares of being back in school or forgetting my homework and like waking up and being like, thank God that is over. So I think it's like everything else. Like it's like every job, it's like everything. It's like I've certainly missed the people, I miss the camaraderie, I miss the collaboration, but the whole thing was a bit like I remember my friend being like, I was worried about graduating, worried in the sense of like, man, like these times are going to be done. And he was like, trust me, dude, like you're going to be so happy when this is over. And I guess in a way he was right. So I don't know if any of that made sense. I hope some of it was interesting, but there you go. That's just been some of the stuff I've been thinking about in regards to like graduating and high school and all this jazz and what does progress look like as an adult. And this was a point I forgot to finish, but like now that I'm older, it's like, well, if you want Halloween decorations, like I gotta do that myself. And then it's like, if you want to do all this other stuff for the holiday, it's like you got to plan that yourself. And when you're a kid, it was just like, hey, we're going to this person's house for Christmas, or we're gonna do this year for Christmas. And I was just like, okay, I'm a kid. Like, what am I gonna do? So yeah, here we are, 10 years later after graduating. I guess I'm in a better spot. Who knows? Yeah, I've been sitting here for a bit trying to think of something positive to end this video with, but I really can't. I don't know. I finished playing Resident Evil 9 recently. That was fun. That ended up being pretty fun. There's slight spoiler. There's you can choose between two endings, and I didn't know this, but the ending I picked was the bad ending, and I was like freaking out. But then I picked. It gives you the option to go back and pick the other ending, and I picked that one. I was like, okay, this is much better, and that was the real like true canon ending to the game. I was like, okay, great, this is much better than the last one. So, so there's that. That was good. Uh, I guess the weather's been better. I don't know. I feel like I guess we can. I guess we can wrap this one up here. We're nearly 25 minutes into this thing on my recording, so editing might bring it down a bit. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's episode of Brock Talk. As always, if there's anything you want me to talk about, any topics on your mind, just let me know, comments or something. I'll try my best to share my best and most informed opinion about it. But until then, that's going to be all for this episode. Thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like. And I will see you guys in whatever next video comes next. So yeah, see you guys. Have a good one. Peace.